today's environment, customers place a premium on speed and efficiency. So much so that 50% of customers are more likely to choose the vendor that responds to them first. In a world where speed is now the most valuable currency, how can you ensure that speed and responsiveness become your competitive advantage? That's where the Pros platform, and specifically Pros Smart CPQ, come in. Smart CPQ is seamlessly integrated with Microsoft Dynamics 365 and the Microsoft Power Platform, and it provides AI-powered pricing and quoting capabilities for any and all of your sales channels, from direct to indirect and even self-service. Once Smart CPQ is turned on within Dynamics 365 sales, quotes can be quickly configured regardless of the level of product or solution complexity. And with the power of Pros and Microsoft, you have real-time AI recommended prices at your fingertips, ensuring that your customers get a price they find fair and your business doesn't leave any margin or revenue on the table.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome into another installment of ISV Success Live. My name is Brian Galicia, and I am super grateful for the opportunity to lead our global Dynamics ISV business here at Microsoft. And every Monday, we do this at 8 o'clock to showcase our amazing BizApps ISV ecosystem. And today, like we typically have done in the past, is we are rehosting a great ISV, or global ISV as well, into our ISV Success Live event. And Scott Cheney from Pros will be joining us today. And thank you, Scott, for making the time. And before I get to Scott, let me do a quick couple of rounds of housekeeping items just for give everyone some context if you've never come across or watched or live or replay of the show. So this is really an opportunity to showcase the amazing innovation that our business application ISVs provide in our ecosystem. Because one thing is, we at Microsoft, even though we do a ton of things, we can't do everything. And so we have an amazing ecosystem of partners, not just SIs, but also our amazing ISVs that actually provide amazing value and capabilities to our joint end customers. So as you're watching, we'd love to hear where you're watching from. So in the LinkedIn comment experience, if you just want to type in where you're watching from or anywhere around the world, we'd love to do a quick shout out at the very beginning before we go deep into the conversation. The second is, if you have a question that might pique your interest based upon the conversation I'm having with Scott, also feel free to put that in the LinkedIn window and I'll catch it in the comments. And if there's time towards the end, I'll ask that question in real time of Scott. And finally, as you're going and listening to this dialogue, if you're watching live or replay, feel free to utilize one of the emoji icons in the LinkedIn experience, because that gives us an opportunity to understand, is the information resonating for the people watching and listening? So without further ado, Scott, thank you so much for taking the time on a Monday.
Thanks for having me, Brian.
To join me. And so when I start out all these sessions, of course, the first question or two questions I always love to ask is, what's your role? And then what's one thing not on your LinkedIn profile that you'd be open to sharing to this broad audience?
Sure. So I am joining you from Houston, Texas today. We're having some beautiful California-like weather here. It's one of the best times to be in Houston if you've ever visited Houston. But I'm Scott Cheney. I lead the global partner team here at Pros. I've been at Pros for almost 20 years now in various leadership roles in professional service and customer success. And I transitioned to our partners and alliances org a few years ago. And after the alliances and partners org was moved under the marketing org, the last session we had with Greg Connie talked about the changes to the marketing org. We rebranded to the global partner team. And so now we manage the partnerships with our technology, ISV, and SI partners, and all the programs and processes to activate our partners to co-sell and co-deliver our solutions and bring innovations to market, as well as activating our partners to be resellers. We're a $300 million company and expect to double the size of the company within the next few years. We're focused on profitable growth, just like many of our customers are, and our partner channel plays a vital role in helping us achieve our growth potential. We're focused on embedding the AI-powered capabilities of our platform and all of the major CRM, ERP, and e-commerce experiences being used by enterprise and mid-enterprise companies. And in many ways, Microsoft has been an inspiration to us. We want to have a rich, vibrant partner ecosystem like Microsoft has. If partners are able to generate revenue from the partnership, building applications and connectors that extend the capabilities of the pros platform and selling commercial packages through our marketplace, then we'll be able to accelerate the growth of the company.
Yeah, great intro, Scott. And yeah, it's a pleasure with our team working closely with your teams on the partnership innovation and continued growth. So before we get into the meat of the dialogue, yeah, if you're open to sharing so people get to know you, one of my favorite figures is what's one thing not on your LinkedIn profile that you're open to?
Yeah, so I was thinking about this over the weekend as I was preparing for this LinkedIn session, and I'm training for an event coming up called the Texas MS 150. I don't know if anybody joining today is aware of this, but it's a 2-day fundraising bike tour to raise money for Multiple Sclerosis Society. And I did it for the first time last year. I have some colleagues at Pros. We have a team that rides in it every year, and got some peer pressure to ride in it last year. So I finally did it, and since then I've been hooked. And the weather was yesterday I was actually training, and the weather was bad where I was training or trying to train this weekend down at the coast. And so I also have a Nordic track, and I started using the Nordic track for training. And so, yesterday was St. Patty's Day. I'm half Irish. My parents emigrated from Ireland to New York City. And so, keeping with the Irish theme, I decided to do a ride in the Irish countryside. And, this is something that's amazing. And think about just technology, and this conversation is going to be about technology and AI. But you take it for granted, right? The fact that you can, train for something like the MS 150 from the comfort of your own home. I did a 25-mile endurance ride in Ireland, and just thinking about what technology, how it's changing our lives, disrupting our lives in good ways. The Nordic track, if anybody's ever ridden, it's very similar to a Peloton, and it simulates an immersive experience, such as cycling, by streaming video of a professional cyclist giving instruction as they're cycling at locations all around the world, and by auto adjusting the resistance and incline. So that you get a complete workout, and even a better workout than if I was just riding my road bike here in Texas, because it's so flat, so I don't get hills and inclines and declines. So I again, just thinking about the opportunities that technology is opening up rather than viewing it as a threat, and that's why I'm excited about AI and the opportunities they're opening up. Pros integrating our prescriptive and predictive AI with the generative AI capabilities Microsoft is infusing in all of the D365 and 365 and Power Platform experiences, as well as the Azure stack.
Yeah, I love it, Scott. Yeah, I'm a cyclist as well. Probably not as good as you, but I have a Peloton. And so that thing, to your point, keeps me active when the weather, because unlike the Texas area, Seattle is a little less forgiving when it comes to cycling. And so for me, I don't cycle when it's really wet and raining outside. One, because people can't see you. And two, I'm trying to move around super slick because I have my road bike. I don't have it's kind of like summer tires in very rainy, wet conditions. And so very slick. And so I love how you do that type of experience. And I assume the 150 means 150 miles. Like, what is that? What that means?
Yeah, it's actually now. I mean, you can do multiple. You can do anything from 50 to 200 miles. So it's 2 days. The first day is either 50, 75, or 100 miles, depending on where you start. And the second day is around 80 miles.
I love it.
It used to go from Houston to Austin, and now it goes from Houston to LaGrange and then to College Station.
Okay, that's great. Well, good luck in the ride. That's a fantastic cause you're running for. So let me give a quick shout out to Peter. Thank you so much. Peter actually leads the global partnership with Pros from the Microsoft perspective. So thanks, Peter, for making the time to join from New Jersey. And again, throughout the conversation, if you want to put in the window where you're watching from, we'll do a quick shout out, or again, if you have any questions you want me to ask. So let's get in the meat of the conversation, Scott. So for those who've never heard of Pros, and you kind of teased up on it, and of course, people who watch the intro video at the very beginning, why don't you describe a little bit about the Pros context? Because profit optimization and this term configure price quote CPQ that for many who are in this space, or maybe you're not in this space, but you realize, oh my gosh, I'm trying to go quote something and try to send that proposal to a customer. That's the sweet spot of Pros. So maybe you can spend a few minutes just talking about the business outcomes that Pros provides.
Sure. So, as you just mentioned, there's a new category of software called profit and revenue optimization software that's emerging, and Pros is a leading provider of profit and revenue optimization solutions. Pros AI-powered solutions solve both sides of the margin equation and help companies achieve their profitable growth objectives. The Pros platform has AI-powered price optimization, revenue optimization, quoting, and cost optimization capabilities. These AI-powered capabilities are embedded in ERP experiences such as Microsoft D365 F&O, CRM experiences such as Microsoft D365 Sales, and e-commerce experiences such as D365 Commerce and Adobe Commerce. And the solutions are mostly used for B2B commerce, but some of our customers use our solutions for B2C commerce as well. Being a 360-degree Microsoft partner, we are bringing to market the AI-powered price optimization and quoting solutions that you just talked about, Brian, in the D365 experiences. So I want to talk more about, yes, we have the quoting capabilities. Microsoft D365 doesn't have out-of-the-box configure price quote capabilities. So Microsoft is solving that by partnering with vendors like Pros that have those capabilities. But I want to talk more about, what we're doing, since the last session that we had with GradCon, leveraging, since our platform runs in Azure, leveraging the AI capabilities of the Azure platform, as well as now that Microsoft has embedded Copilot in all of the D365 Power Platform and M365 experience, what we're doing to integrate our prescriptive predictive AI with those experiences. So, we just built a connector for Copilot for Sales, for instance. And we are one of the first ISV partners to build a connector so that our customers can get the AI-powered quoting insights directly through the Copilot for Sales experience. And instead of going into D365 Sales or even Salesforce to search for an opportunity, create or search for a quote, an opportunity management or quote management workflow can now be initiated from Outlook. And so, the AI-powered quoting insights can also be displayed directly in Outlook so that sales reps can respond more quickly to RFQs. And we expect this to boost sales productivity even more for customers that are already using our AI-powered quoting solutions embedded in the D365 sales experience. But it's also now a significant differentiator for us and strengthens the value prop for companies that haven't yet invested in AI-powered price optimization quoting solutions like Pros. And there are many companies still out there. I think majority of companies are still using spreadsheets to manage prices and quotes. And now that AI is infused into all of these price management and quoting experiences, we expect us to be able to capture more of that addressable market that's out there and capture it together with Microsoft. And one other thing, as I mentioned, our platform also runs on Azure. So we drive a lot of Azure consumption from Microsoft. We rank in the top 10 globally for partner reported Azure consumption. And because our platform runs on Azure, as I mentioned before, we are now building features integrated with Azure OpenAI to drive efficiency for our customers, accelerate time to value, and lower implementation cost. And for example, we developed a chatbot built in Azure OpenAI so that customers can quickly find revenue and margin improvement opportunities by asking the chatbot, for instance, to search for underperforming customers or products. And so now we're also starting to develop other features that can automate the data mapping that is done during implementation. And since the Pros platform is a low-code platform and requires implementation services to design and configure the solution, we started building features built in Azure OpenAI that can automate the configuration and deployment of the Pro solution, or even help customers configure their own solutions. So we've just scratched the surface on the power that we can unlock, deepen the integration with the D365 stack, Copilot, and Azure OpenAI.
Yeah, I love it, Scott. What well said. And there's so much since the last time, to your point, when we hosted Grad, who's the Chief Marketing Officer for our Pros, over a year ago. The innovation has been amazing on the partnership and how us together have been working very closely to drive this value to end customers around profit optimization. And the scenarios you described are amazing. And the fact that one of the things I should also mention at the very beginning too is Pros is also an inner circle partner. And so for those of you who aren't in the space for biz apps, we actually recognize certain partners in our ecosystem that it's separate from our kind of partner of the year awards, et cetera. That's very specific to the business application space. And Pros has that distinction again for another year in a row. And I'm going to see you next week, Scott, at the event.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think those types of things just showcase the strong innovation that Pros is doing, not just across the Microsoft Cloud with Azure, but also doing it space in Dynamics. The other things that, of course, maybe leads into our next question about like the partnership experiences. Is so you also have transactable offers, and so I think that's the other big innovation that has continued to mature and make traction. Because you think about how potential customers want to buy. And the value of doing that is the fact that, to your point, Pros runs on Azure. And so maybe you could talk a little bit about the transactability and just the partnership experience since the last time we spoke with Brad. What's the journey been like? And of course, with Peter on the phone listening, and of course, working closely with you, maybe you could talk a little bit about just what's been the experience, also P2P, because we talked about in the pre-show about when I say, sorry, I'm using acronyms, partner to partner. Maybe you could also talk about some of the work that Pros has been doing in the partner ecosystem, working with other partners.
Yeah, definitely. And Brian, the experience has been fantastic since I started working with Microsoft about a year ago. I think I work more closely with Microsoft than some of my colleagues here at Pros. I talk to Peter on a daily basis, multiple times a day, and the other PDMs and technical specialists that are working with us to bring these innovations to market. But, as you mentioned, we're participating in many of the programs that are eligible to ISV partners and are receiving incentives and support to build Copilot connectors, for instance, and develop features integrated with Azure OpenAI. We did focus on getting our B2B and travel products, as you mentioned, listed on the Azure Marketplace and AppSource over the past year. So a lot of work went into that. Tackle IO actually helped us with getting those listings created. And this helps us do more co-selling with Microsoft. We know that Marketplace and Copilot are two of the major pillars of Microsoft's go-to-market strategy this year. And since we were able to get our travel and B2B products listed on the Marketplace and fully transactable in the Marketplace, we finished our fiscal year, which is a normal calendar year, very strong. So ending in December, we closed the year strong with 3 Marketplace transactions. That worth more than $5 million in ACV. There were actually 2 B2B products that were transacted, our Smart POM and Smart CPQ products, as well as 2 travel products, our group Sales Optimizer product and RTDP. So 4 transactable products were actually purchased through the Marketplace. And again, it was $5 million of ACV. And since, it is something that we're seeing that if Microsoft customers can decrement their Mac purchasing third-party products like Pros through the Marketplace, it actually helps us accelerate deal velocity as well as improve win rate. So we're leaning into it more this year, and we plan to try to triple the number of Marketplace transactions this year. Also, the connector we built for Copilot for Sales with the help from Microsoft technical specialists like Brenda Delatorre and Gaurav Babar, we just certified the connector. And as soon as the Copilot for Sales with extensibility is generally available, which is interesting, we built the connector, got it certified, but customers can't start using it until Microsoft releases the extensibility, which will be within the next few weeks. But we're going to start piloting, the connector that we built with our customers, and we've also been doing outreach to Microsoft sellers and our PDMs like Peter Martin, Carmen Palomino, Matthias Lauer over in Europe. And others have done a great job helping us get sessions scheduled with the Microsoft sales community so that we can educate them on how Pros can help them retire more BizApps license quota, win more deals against Salesforce, and get comped when customers purchase Pros solutions from the Marketplace. So we're starting to get connected to more of the sales directors and GMs as well, doing some go-to-market planning, building pipeline together. So we expect this to be a pretty momentous year for Pros, just given everything that we do and have been doing around Marketplace, Copilot, Azure, OpenAI, et cetera.
Yeah. And go ahead, Scott. Sorry.
Yeah. And then, to close, because, you mentioned as well as, P2P, partner to partner. We've been expanding our SI ecosystem over the past year through the partnership with Microsoft. Mm-hmm. We want more SIs to be able to deliver the bundles that we were bringing to market, with Microsoft, D365 plus Pro Smart CPQ, Smart POM bundles, we're bringing to market. And we're doing everything we can capitalize on the momentum that Microsoft has created. And so one of the things, one thing I wanted to, because it's really important, is that what we've learned from Microsoft is that we need to be leading with AI more when we are having the interactions with our customers and prospects. And it's actually kind of interesting, because if you see, pros, we kind of been living and breathing AI for years, right? We have been an AI company for decades, long before AI was the next big thing. And we have over 30 data scientists that have been developing AI algorithms, and we have one of the top AI experts in the world, Dr. Michael Wu, that has been shaping our AI strategy and investments. And what's interesting, again, is that since we're living and breathing AI as a company, we really don't talk about AI enough, right? And we're now taking some cues from Microsoft and are going to start leading with AI and Copilot more. Copilot is becoming more ubiquitous, and we could talk about how companies can improve productivity and profitability using Copilot, and how it powers the Copilot experience.
Yeah, well said, Scott. And I love, again, the innovation that you're doing, not just to infuse AI into pros, but how Copilot for Sales, to your point, is an amazing experience that users can take advantage of, because it is not meant to replace them. It's meant to be their Copilot, so that whatever experience, the experience you're in, you hit it spot on. If you're in Outlook, having this Copilot experience pop up so that you don't have to leave that experience to then take the full advantage of not just the business application. And that's not just Dynamics, that also can be our competition that's down south. And it's that value, because we know that, hey, customers are going to leverage the scenarios and the business applications solutions that are right for them. And sometimes that means that they're going to continue running something else. And that's okay in some regards, because then an amazing ISV like yourself that's providing this value can still hook into that. And your comments on Copilot for Sales is going to be that amazing innovation. So with the 9 minutes we have left, maybe we can spend a few moments before we get to kind of call to action so people can learn more. What are some of the latest customer wins, or maybe customer stories that you've gotten exposed to since the last dialogue about some of this innovation? To your point, like we're winning jointly together to provide this amazing value to help customers maximize profit through the configure price quoting experience. So maybe you can spend a few minutes just talking about, Scott, some of your favorite customer stories of where you've seen these business outcomes really thrive.
Yeah, it's interesting, Brad, because I was thinking about this. What are my favorite customer stories? And I don't like to pick just one customer story or a customer success story, because they're all really amazing stories. And there's usually a common theme in the stories. And much of it we've talked about during this dialogue. Most of our customers, are in what we call spreadsheet hell, right? They're using spreadsheets or disparate systems to manage prices and quotes. And they realize they're leaving a ton of money on the table because they weren't investing in AI-powered solutions like pros. And whether it's a major oil and gas company like ExxonMobil, or a major software company like Adobe, a high-tech devices manufacturer like HPI, a food manufacturer like Cargill, or a med devices company like Smith & Nephew, they all have similar business challenges and pain points. And they have tens of thousands of customers and tens of thousands of SKUs. And they can't respond quickly enough to cost changes, to macroeconomic conditions, changes in buyer preference, competitor moves, to either minimize margin leakage or capture revenue margin uplift opportunities, because they're still using spreadsheets or antiquated systems and manual processes to manage prices and quotes. We published a total economic impact study that's actually available on our website if you want to go out to our website, pros.com. We actually commissioned Forrester to do the study for us. And over 140 customers, or actually 130 customers, opted into the study and self-reported the financial and productivity impact from the investment in pro solutions. And customers, again, they self-reported these numbers. And on average, they reported more than an 8% revenue uplift, more than a 200 basis point margin improvement, and more than a 67% efficiency gains. And customers also verified a payback period of about 9 months and more than 400% ROI within the first 3 years. So massive sustained ROI of tens of millions of dollars. And again, every customer that is using our AI-powered quoting and price optimization solutions integrated with a solution like Microsoft Dynamics 365 Sales is achieving these results.
Yeah, and I love the various examples you made, Scott, because all those things are not just tech companies or not just a certain scenario. It's these areas where, to your point, where when you think about what customers are doing today, spreadsheets, it's all over the place on pricing. And then how do you get approvals for these things? How do you know that this thing works with this thing? And I think that is a great testament to the flexibility of course, where Pros is very strong at, but also the ability where any customer listening to this, or if you're a Microsoft partner implementing, for example, dynamic sales into an account where this is needed, this is a good opportunity to evaluate whether, again, Pros can help with that extension, because you touched on it too with the partner to partner stuff, is being able to really start to derive that value, not just through the Microsoft selling team, but that's the other big value that we see with the partner ecosystem, is that partners are working together with other partners because it's an opportunity for them to drive success together. So with the 4 minutes with left, maybe Scott, you can touch upon what are some of the things for people to learn more, either if they're a Microsoft seller, they're a partner, or maybe a buyer that comes across this because it shows up in their feed. What are some of the things that you recommend people do as next steps to learn more about Pros and potentially evaluate whether or not what profit optimization, what you can provide, how that can drive value for people interested in the solution and the scenario?
Yeah, well, as I mentioned, go to pros.com. I mean, it's a super valuable resource. Our marketing team has been working on revamping our website, and we want to make it a resource that customers and partners can use to for any of the selling and marketing motions. So we have customer stories out there. We have all of the studies from the market research firms, like I was mentioning, the Forrester Total Economic Impact Analysis. And so there's a wealth of resources out there. There's demos. So yeah, if you want to learn everything there is to know about Pros, go to our website. We also have an Outperform event coming up. It's our customer event that we put on in May. And so there's more information about the Outperform event. If you're interested in attending, there's information about how to register for that event. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn. And there's also, through our website, you can fill out a form to get connected to our sales and marketing organization.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, Scott. Who wouldn't want to be in Florida before it gets super hot and enjoy time spent a few days just with learning more about Pros, but also in a great venue.
One other thing to mention as well that we're doing, like I said, we're working with Peter Martin, Carmen, and others. We're doing proactive outreach to the sales community. So we're getting sessions scheduled with each of the industry sectors and regions as well, so that the sales community can learn more about Pros and how we can partner together to co-sell together. Yeah,
that's great, Scott. Yeah, I think internally for any Microsoft employee listening to this, again, feel free to reach out to myself. But you probably saw at the very beginning Peter Martin's name show up, and of course, around the world there are coverage for Pros for different areas, and Carmen, for example, in the Americas, etc., that helps lead that. I also want to make sure that people are aware too, is this a very simple site besides pros.com. If you just go to aka.ms/pros, I wish you could just click on it, but you can't. You have to take a screenshot of it or type it in and save it for later. But this takes you to the app source listing, the Dynamics app source listing for Pros capabilities integration into Dynamics. But just know there are also listings that show up in the Azure Marketplace as well. And so if you just go to Azure Marketplace and look up Pros, that's also where you can see the value and capabilities that Pros can provide on the Azure side. So Scott, before we wrap up and then we go into the video where I'll play the longer version of it, any last comments or parting words before we wrap up the show for today on Monday?
Yeah, just think about Pros. If you're looking for a vendor that has profit optimization, revenue optimization capabilities, AI-powered profit optimization and revenue optimization capabilities, or you're interested in learning more about a solution like Pros, definitely reach out to us, and we can help you drive the profitability and productivity that you're looking to achieve.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Scott. Thank you so much, Pros, for the partnership. Truly grateful that you continue to invest in Microsoft, the Microsoft Cloud, and working closely together to provide this joint business outcome, particularly around profit optimization and CPQ to our end customers. So with that being said, thank you all for either watching live, or if you come across this, appreciate you making the time to watch the replay. We do these every Monday, of course, when we have a ISV to showcase, and or I'm not on a holiday, or I have another conflict. But we do this every Monday to really showcase the business application ISV ecosystem. And so if you want to watch any of the past ones, because we're on episode 92, it's hard to believe that ever since we started this during COVID, we've now showcased over 92 different sessions with our amazing partner ecosystem. So if you just want to go to aka.ms/ISV Success Live, that will take you to the YouTube channel that gives you access to all the other past shows, including this one that we've just finished up with Scott from Pros. So Scott, thank you so much for the time. And I'm going to go ahead and play the longer version of the video. So thanks again, Scott.
Thanks for having me, Brian.
In today's environment, customers place a premium on speed and efficiency. So much so that 50% of customers are more likely to choose the vendor that responds to them first. In a world where speed is now the most valuable currency, how can you ensure that speed and responsiveness become your competitive advantage? That's where the Pros platform, and specifically Pros Smart CPQ, come in. Smart CPQ is seamlessly integrated with Microsoft Dynamics 365 and the Microsoft Power Platform. And it provides AI-powered pricing and quoting capabilities for any and all of your sales channels, from direct to indirect and even self-service. Once Smart CPQ is turned on within Dynamics 365 sales, quotes can be quickly configured regardless of the level of product or solution complexity. And with the power of Pros and Microsoft, you have real-time AI recommended prices at your fingertips, ensuring that your customers get a price they find fair and your business doesn't leave any margin or revenue on the table. With the right products and prices in hand, Pros Smart CPQ generates rich, professional-looking quotes that are 100% accurate and deeply personalized for each customer in a matter of seconds. Pros Smart CPQ is built exclusively on Microsoft Azure, giving businesses around the world confidence that their solution will always be accessible, that their data will always be protected, and the experiences provided will perform as fast as any B2C application, regardless of quote size. This allows your sales teams to stay within Dynamics 365 to improve both their efficiency and their effectiveness. All the meanwhile, Microsoft Dynamics 365 is enriched with more data to provide increased visibility into sales performance and greater confidence in sales forecasts. Using these AI-powered pricing and quoting capabilities from Pros, a Fortune 50 tech company achieved a $400 million uplift in incremental revenue, all while improving their margins. Pros brings a proven track record of AI-powered pricing and selling to Dynamics 365 sales, so that you can quote in minutes, not days, and you can live up to and even exceed the expectations of your customers. This speed, plus the combination of individually tailored pricing and product recommendations, ensures that you make the most out of your sales interactions, win new business, and grow your share of wallet. To learn more, click on the link in the description below.